Is everything good to go? Let's pull up what we're going over today. Okay, that's the theme song. I just feel like getting right to it. So in this video, when I'm starting off with, oh, I haven't seen everybody in a while. Hope y'all are great, and I hope you're having good holidays. Happy New Year, by the way. But so we're gonna start off with the U.S. legislation to end cannabis prohibition. Oh crap, let me go. So basically, we're going to talk about Congress's plan to legalize marijuana nationwide in America. And then I want to talk about how Elon is dodging the people that worked for him for DOGE. That happened about a month ago, but still, I want to talk about that. Then I'm going to talk about the 20 states where you can still get your ass busted for the chiba, for the herb. And then the last, I'm going to finish up with Wiz Khalifa being sentenced in Romania and them talking about extraditing him to Romania. Let's get on this article first. Hold on, I'll be right back. Let me make sure I put everything on no disturb because people be popping up. Okay. I believe I can see anything. I mean, I can see everything. Oh, let me move me up a bit. So the U.S. Congress legislation to end cannabis prohibition nationwide will allow expungements, and it gains its 60th sponsor. It's going to be called the MORE Act, M-O-R-E. And let's get into this. So the MORE Act, it will be removing marijuana from the Federal Controlled Substance Act, effectively ending prohibition on a national level. Basically, what that is saying is that it's going to be decriminalized. The herb is not going to be seen as a crime just because you have an herb. Effectively ending prohibition nationwide, states would continue to set their own laws, and marijuana would no longer be treated as controlled substance federally, which means nationwide, like the people who, anyone who has to deal with the feds, people who drive trucks, people who are in military, people who are in the IRS, who work for the reserve banks, all these people who work for the feds will be able to smoke green without having them to worry about failing a drug test, or having to smoke CBD and messing your throat up, giving yourself a sore throat. The legislation also features broad restorative justice provisions, including expungement, past federal marijuana convictions, allowing for resentencing, and establishing reinvestment programs for communities disproportionately harmed by enforcement. Basically, law enforcement just arresting people just to arrest people because you're smoking a joint. They want to be able to go back and erase this for people, so people, who are younger, my age, younger than me, or older, whatever, so people can get good jobs. I think people are starting to realize that they have too many. Just because you don't smoke weed doesn't mean that you are all of a sudden smarter than other people. And I think people are starting to realize that they're getting a lot of jokers up in positions that are high up, and nobody's really caring about the system or caring about the person so that businesses can continue to flourish. So, I mean, they knew, especially for my generation, Generation X, they knew that marijuana is a crash crop. So, honestly, they're trying to get their hands on that. And I am one of those people who do feel that marijuana is going to end up saving the world because of the money that it's going to help and restore, and at the same time, restoring people with good attitudes too. But to me, I just think it's funny. They hate it first, then they copy you, then they want to be all about it. Revenue from new federal excise tax. Like I said, they're going to put a tax on it. On marijuana sales will fund initiatives such as job training, youth programs, reentry support. The bill will also prevent marijuana related convictions from being used to deny federal housing, loans, and other benefits that would finally open Small Business Administration programs to marijuana businesses. And so they can make some money. Although the MORE Act has been cleared, the House twice before, those voted came when Democrats held the control of the chamber. It is kind of said like it's mostly Democrats who want to pay attention to the health of the American people, and the Democrats are pushing the green. About 50% of Republicans do want it to be legalized, but right now, in my opinion, they want to look at like Nazis. They're too busy looking like Nazis over there, the Republicans. The right, because they're always right. Another proposal introduced this year, States 2.0 Act, would also prevent state marijuana laws, but takes narrower approach. It has about 8 sponsors, though it stands out for having bipartisan support, something that the MORE Act has yet to secure. But there's something that they've been working on. It's something that they're going to continue to work on. But at least it's out there. At least people are talking about it. The decriminalization of marijuana federally, where it will be okay well, they're going to make it a certain limit, but it's not considered a crime, is what the Congress wants to push for. And you don't see Trump pushing for this, but it's not going to be considered a crime that you have an herb. So let's talk about how Elon is ghosting all of the employees that he hired for Doge. And by the way, as I was reading this article, did you know that they lived there in the office? Like Elon wasn't paying them enough so they could purchase their own homes, not even an apartment. Suddenly exposed. Doge employees fear persecution after Elon Musk abandoned them. This happened about a month ago, and I have been in hibernation. But let's talk. It's still not too far off. Current and former Department of Government Efficiency DOGE staffers are growing increasingly concerned that the work they did slashing government programs and eliminating jobs will come back to haunt them with the possibility of criminal persecution. Oh no, it will. Hurry up. By the way, for the people out there, for the watchers, thanks for watching. Thanks for the views, the subscribers, the likes. Thanks for being a part of the show. Worse still is that their growing belief that the billionaire Elon Musk, who recruited them, won't step up to save them by appealing to Donald Trump on their behalf should things turn for the worse. As Political, Sophia Kai and Daniel Litmani are reporting in June, a handful of so-called Doge tech bros packed up their possessions and departed the 6th floor of GSA building where they have been living to look for new lodging. Can you believe that? They were living at work where Elon hired you, and this is supposed to be the richest man in the world. By the way, Beyonce just became a millionaire. But this is a billionaire. But this is the richest man in the world, and you're lodging at work? Showboat. Questions about future of Doge and its employees were immediately raised after Trump's Musk slip from a department that was always considered a moving target, particularly since Musk had been battling with the other Trump officials, with Trump other buddies, including a physical scuffle with Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent. The farmer boy, the one who says he'd be farming. But I didn't. Did y'all see a fist fight? I just saw Scott Penson say he said something. I'm gonna punch you in the face. I just saw them going back and forth, like cursing each other out. And apparently, I didn't know. I just read in this article that Trump and Elon be going at each other on social media. Though we just saw them get a, it was supposed. I think it was Kirk's funeral where they were supposed to make up and be friends and stuff and be friends again. But apparently they go at each other. They do little tiffs and fights and stuff on social media. So that wasn't really forgive and make up type things. So let's go over the 20 states where you can still get your butt busted for herb. 20 states where marijuana arrests remain common. They said most common. Look at these pictures. I need to go apply for them. Take those pictures. So FBI data shows that in 2024, police made nearly about 200,000 arrests for marijuana possession nationwide, according to about 22% of drug arrests. These arrests are overwhelmingly non-violent arrests. Okay, let's go for state number 1. What do you think it is first? What do you think it is? I think it's Cali, Michigan, New York, Georgia. What do you think number 1 is? If you were from Texas, you know your state. Texas is number 1 where you can get your butt busted for herb. They don't care if you was sitting around being nonviolent, getting yourself some snow cones. They gonna arrest your butt. Arrest the rest. And then right now they don't know the difference between THC and CBD. So if you got CBD, arrest the rest. All right, so Texas arrested about 26,000, about 30,000 people for cannabis. And keep in mind that all these are non-violent offenses. Punishable up to 180 days. It's a misdemeanor, but it's punishable up to 180 days jail and a $2,000 fine. And in Texas, nothing is legalized yet. Like, it's not legal recreationally nor medically, and they just want to push CBD. Which CBD, it really gets annoying, the lack of knowledge that people understand about THC and CBD. CBD is 0.03 of marijuana. So what that means is that you're not even getting 1% of marijuana. So CBD is doing nothing, especially if you have chronic pain, besides letting you add clouds in the sky. Tennessee is number 2. Did you get that? Did you say that as number 1? Tennessee is number 2. They have arrested about, I would say 12,000 people. It's still completely illegal in Tennessee, not recreational, and it's not medical. And the first place that went medical in the South was Mississippi, by the way, which probably, Florida, and Mississippi. Well, they don't consider Florida the South, but pretty sure that surprised a lot of people. Anyways, CBD only in in Tennessee. With your whiskey. Yeah, so nasty. And you can have 1 year up to jail if they catch you with marijuana in Tennessee. Isn't that retarded? Pennsylvania coming in 3, where they had about 11,000 arrests this year. It's illegal recreationally, although the state operates medical marijuana programs. I didn't know that they were legal medically in Pennsylvania. Sure ain't acting like it if you still arresting about 11,000 people and putting them on probation and shit. Wisconsin coming in with about 11,000 people too. 10,978. 11,000. About 11,000. It's such a gray area. They're like, we're going to legalize it, but we're still going to bust your ass. This says more than half of the arrests in that state involved marijuana. So if they stopped persecuting people for marijuana, it'd be like 11,000 people that they didn't arrest. What number are we on? We're on number 5. Tennessee is Texas is number 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 5. North Carolina. Tripping. It's not legal medically in North Carolina. I'm pretty sure it's not legal anything in North Carolina but CBD. That's how the whole South wants to act right now. They arrested about close to 11,000 people since 2024. Yeah, and it's still illegal medically and recreationally. Oh, they're talking about decriminalization, which is, different steps, but it's basically saying that herb is not considered a crime for possessing it. While North Carolina technically decriminalized possession, a very small amount decades ago, individuals are still charged. Yep, so it's like they didn't decriminalize shit. They said that in the city of Atlanta, but they still put people on probation. South Carolina, we're on number 6 with about 10,000 of the arrests. Don't you go down there smoking the chiba. Louisiana, about 10,000. All these places, Louisiana is still completely illegal too. They haven't legalized medically nor recreationally. Georgia, where I'm at right now, about coming in with 10,000. You suck. I can tell you the laws here. It is still illegal medically and recreationally. Right now, they're getting ready to talk about medical, but they're just talking about it because they needed the sponsors, the money to back it up for people to open up the shops. Trulyville is up here, but they're selling CBD. Yeah, it's all CBD. Like I was saying earlier, 0.03, less than 1% of marijuana in your CBD. Like, is that even marijuana anymore at that point? Or is it just vapors? Is it just vapors? But yeah, they stuck here in Georgia as moving along. Indiana coming in with 10,000. Alabama coming in with 7,000. About 7,000. About 7,500. About 800. 8,000, excuse me. Utah coming in with their arrest on marijuana convictions. 7,000. About. Iowa, 5,000. We getting those numbers down. Kansas. Who is in Kansas? 5,000. Arkansas, 5,000. Idaho, 5,000. Florida, which is crazy because they're legal medically. They're not yet recreationally. So why are y'all still arresting about 22 million people for marijuana? And they're supposed to have decriminalized it, but it looks like the law enforcement is not on the same page as the law. Oklahoma, which is another state. Now, didn't they went medical. They're not rec just yet. They should be soon. And isn't that crazy that they have still arrested about 4,000 people in their state for marijuana? Mississippi is medical. Now, I can't remember who went first. I'm pretty sure it was Florida. But Mississippi was so surprising. Mississippi is medical. They're not recreational right now. They still arrested about 4,000 people, but they're doing a better job than like everybody else, even though it's like racist as hell over there. They're doing a better job than everybody else getting these numbers down of people who don't really need to be locked up. Nebraska, 3,000. Wyoming, 1,000. That's the last one. That's the 20th state where you can go get your booty busted. For smoking weed, you can still get arrested. All right, let's talk about Wiz Khalifa and the extradition to Romania because he smoked weed on stage. There you go. Y'all know y'all know they doing it. Romania tripping just because he's got tan skin. Next thing they gonna call him a gypsy next. Because you got that tan skin. No, it's not. Then what is it? It really is. What they're trying to do is stupid. They could just give him a fine. Wiz Khalifa has been sentenced to 9 months in prison in Romania following an appeal tied to a marijuana possession stemming from a concert appearance last year. So the ruling relates to July 2024 performance in a seaside town called Stenesti, where the Pittsburgh-born rapper was briefly detained after authorities said that he smoked marijuana on stage during a music festival. Marijuana remains illegal under Romanian law, and prosecutors charged him with possession of a controlled substance for personal use. So he wasn't selling it. Personal use sounds better. But a lower court initially imposed a fine of 3,000 li and roughly, which is about $700 here in the States, concluding that the offense warranted a monetary penalty rather than jail time, meaning that it's just a fine that no one needs to sit down. It's not that serious, which kind of is I think that sucks for American artists, and it must be kind of confusing, and athletes, people who travel worldwide, because in America we're moving along pretty quickly and the rest of the world is taking their time to move on along with us. So I'm pretty sure it's kind of like, oh, I can't really leave the country because I smoke and your country doesn't smoke yet. But they are old-fashioned tripping. Prosecutors later appealed that the decision, arguing that the public nature of the incident justified a harsher sentence. The appeal was handled by Romania's organizer crime, which oversees drug-related case. They handle drug-related cases. So I can't believe that Romania's own prosecutor, they're like, no, we're going too soft, and excuse me, let's hit him harder. And you really, excuse me, with the way that history's been going, you really want me to think that his skin color had nothing to do with you guys imposing a harsher sentence than the one that you originally had. Sometimes when people keep playing around like that and y'all trying to find people, it might get thrown out. Because I don't know why everybody thinks that Wiz Khalifa is not able to retain a lawyer, but he can do that too. Oh, another thing I wanted to say is, for that, how ridiculous that is. They could have been all smoking tobacco on stage, which would have been fine because tobacco kills you. So that's really what you're pushing. But the healthy smokes, they're saying that's pretty how Romania is making themselves look. There was one person in the comment who says that's just their country trying to make themselves look relevant. I took it as a joke. I was laughing. But how ridiculous. It's hard for me to not believe that the reason why you're not imposing something harsher, you can't convince me that it doesn't have anything to do with skin color, though. You really can't convince me about that. I know they're trying to hit somebody who's a musician, someone who they feel that has money, and I think that has everything to do with everything. For a long time, European countries like Romania were known for being racist towards dark-skinned people, so it's really hard for me to think that all of a sudden you flipped a leaf overnight and you're doing this for the better of society, when obviously it's not. This is what I wanted to say. A lot of people don't know that there are concerts where the band is having sex with the women on stage, like where they're having sex on stage. So we could go so many ways with that, but Wiz Khalifa was not doing that. He is smoking a peace herb with the community, and everybody's keeping their clothes on. People are having a good time. What was the problem? But like I said to you, there are other people who they're like, well, we don't know about those shows. But yeah, there are people who are doing things at shows that are a whole lot worse besides just smoking the peace herb and passing it around. Like, that's not violent at all. That's retarded. And then to sit up here with the DICOT and like make those claims like that. Well, the reason why we had to give him prison was because he had everybody involved. Yeah, but can we actually impose these harsh prison sentences for things that actually meant that, where somebody's safety is actually compromised? Like the serial killers out here, y'all don't do nothing about that, or the serial rapists like Trump, y'all don't do nothing about that. Romania's Court of Appeal ultimately overturned the fine and replaced it with 9 months prison. And I don't know how they do it over there. It might be similar to over here. Like if you get time, you get time and a half for good behavior. Issued by absentia. In its written decision, the court said that Khalifa's actions sent what it described as a message normalizing illegal behavior, particularly in front of a young audience at a festival popular with teens and young adults. So I think he learned, I don't know, but y'all remember Britney going to Russia and she had some carts and then they arrested her, and it was like it was a difficult time for the embassy to get her out. At least he's at home, like he's in the States right now. At least he's not in trouble while still over there. But like I was saying, it just reiterated what I said before I read that part of the article, that there are people who are doing things that shows a whole lot worse than what happened, especially with teenagers and young adults involved. Despite the ruling, legal experts say that it is highly unlikely that the artist will serve the sentence. I agree. Extradition for a non-violent drug offense involving foreign nationals is rare. Yes, the fuck it is. And why the fuck would y'all even think of a punishment like that for this person besides the fact that you are subconsciously racist? Especially when the defendant resides in another country where marijuana laws differ significantly. Khalifa remains in the United States, and Romania authorities have not indicated an extradition efforts are expected to succeed. Yeah, they're not even sure if they're going to be able to do it. They might try. You know, you always got to get ready for them people who might try. Criminologist Vlad, why is everybody named Vlad? Zaha described this sentence as unusually harsh. And like, why are we ignoring the fact that some people out here might be racist, directly, indirectly, subconsciously, whatever? Why would you choose what the first sentence you gave was fine, and then you want to go back and do a harsher sentence? These things can get thrown out, and I wonder what makes prosecutors think that their own cases can't get thrown out, especially if they're playing around with the court and doing these kangaroo circus courts. Criminologist Vlad Zaha described the sentence as unusually harsh, noting that Romania has limited leverage in attempting to enforce such a ruling abroad. I agree. Khalifa has not publicly commented, and he probably won't. Because this is like making mountains out of molehills. The dude was already smoking. I don't really see how you're going to stress him out much. We're gonna punish you. You won't be able to smoke for 9 months. So it's like, so when I get out and I get to smoke again, it's gonna be like extra fulfilling because I went on a tolerance break. These things ain't punishment no more that they be doing. It's crazy. I don't want to take up too much time, but let's smoke one for you and go. By the way, thanks for the watchers and the people who like the video. The links to the articles, if you guys want to go through them, they will be in the description below when the live is over. And thanks for the people who hit that donation button too. Man, Wiz. They're just trying to make an example out of him. Honestly, in my opinion, it's a lot of people out here who are just trying to do their cruelest to somebody who they think is weak. Doesn't mean, I'm not saying that Khalifa is weak, but that's my opinion on how some people act out here. Kennedy Center hit with the last minute New Year's cancellation, huh? He has to pay something because of that award ceremony that Trump did with Kiss involved. They said he had to pay something. I was like, did he rent the Kennedy Center out or something? Then he didn't pay his rental fees before he did the ceremony. Well, I hope Wiz Khalifa don't. If I was him, I would stay out of Romania. Like, damn. First I would make sure all this is cleared up, and I would still stay out of Romania. Like, damn, so now I can't tour in your country. All the Romanians got to come to the surrounding countries. They got to come to Spain. They got to come to France. Is France going to be cool? They got to come to Ukraine. Dang. Like, now Wiz can't tour in my country because my country be tripping. Trying to get people to smoke tobacco. Okay. See you later.